Today, we're going to talk about 5 ways to rise above petty office politics and become the leader who God is calling you to be, right? So, the reason I want to talk about this topic is because when I was in corporate America and when I was on a certain job, there was just so much office politics. There were just so many like petty office nuances that I really didn't want to be a part of. But because I was a part of that job and I was in the department that I was in, I had to deal with it. I had to deal with a narcissistic boss. You know what I mean? I had to deal with a boss that was insecure, really not knowing who she was and projected her insecurities on everyone in the office. I had to deal with all of this. But in that, I learned how to rise above the petty office politics and to become the leader that I know I'm destined to be. And this is what I want to teach you, how to rise above the petty office politics and be who God is calling you to be. Because sometimes God sends us on these jobs to do a work in us. He sends us on a job where he knows that we're going to have a narcissistic boss. He knows that the atmosphere is going to be chaotic because he is doing something in us. He is refining us. He is using that atmosphere to refine us, to help us to become who he's wanting us to be in the future. And sometimes we have to go through these deep waters in order to become who he's calling us to be. So the number one way to rise above the office politics is to let your foundation be of faith. Let your foundation be of faith and believing in the word of God. I'm not saying that you have to be an expert, but you allow where you are and allow what you're doing to be on the foundation of faith of God and not the foundation of the company, but on the foundation of God. And then you follow the company's protocol, policies, and procedures, right? But have a foundation of faith. Let God be your moral compass. Let God guide you. Let the Bible guide you and dictate what it is that you do, how you should behave. This doesn't mean that you be passive and soft now. You know what I mean? This doesn't mean that you don't stand up for yourself, but let that be the foundation to help guide you and help you get over these petty office politics. Number 2, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that God sent you on that job for a reason. You have to believe that you can do whatever it is that you was hired to do. Because sometimes you will have these managers on these jobs that are threatened by you. They are intimidated by that light on you. They are intimidated because there is a grace and there is a difference in you, right? They'll be intimidated by this. So they'll try to make you, make your job hard. They'll try to make things harder for you because they are threatened and intimidated, right? But believe in yourself. Know who you are. Be confident in who you are, okay? Number 3, know your why. Know why you're there on that job. Know why you applied for that job. Even if it's to take care of your family, even if it's to make sure you get your daughter through college or to get your son through college or to help pay medical bills or get out of debt, you have to know why you're there. Don't let anyone make you leave a place where they didn't put you. Never let anyone force you to leave somewhere where they did not put you, right? Know why you're there. Know your reason, right? Know your reason why you're there at that job. That's the number 3 way, 3 reason. Number 4, think like an eagle. An eagle flies very high. The altitude is so high, you have to be another eagle to fly on that level. So think like an eagle. Have your thinking be so elevated that you see the petty office politics, but you're not focused on that. You see it, but you still can do your job. You can ignore it and do your job. So you have to think like an eagle. Think above where you are. If you're in a certain department, think outside of that department. Don't be so limited to that department. And this brings me to number 5. Step outside of your department's walls and develop allies and develop relationships outside of where you are. Because when you're working in a toxic environment with a manager that is petty, with the manager that is narcissistic, with the manager that creates chaos within the department, keep people turning against each other, don't want harmony because they know they can create a fire and then try to put it out because they're so insecure. They want to create a rift within the department instead of trying to work harmoniously. They want to create that rift because they can operate in that. I had a manager tell me one time that she knows how to turn all of her employees against each other. What type of manager would say something like that? What type of person, other than an evil person, would want to create chaos in the department, which will weaken the department because none of the team members are getting along? They all think someone is after them, and they always think someone is lying on them or going to tell on them or something. What type of leader would do that? Well, she wasn't a leader. What type of person would do that? What type of person? A person who has evil intentions and who's insecure. That's the type of person that would cause people to turn against each other, that would cause people to fight against each other. Instead of trying to create a harmonious department so you can increase the productivity or you can make people want to come to work, you creating chaos. I tell you, I had to get out that department. I didn't know where I was going, but I had to get from out of there. But I didn't leave until my assignment was complete. I didn't make her, I didn't let her force me to leave, but I did leave. But it was on God's timing. It wasn't when she was trying to force me to leave. I left on God's time. I left when my assignment was complete. I left when I learned my lesson. I left when I was able to humble myself and still fly high in the chaos. So 5 ways to rise above petty office politics. Let your foundation be of faith. Trust God, right? Number 2, believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, believe that you can do what it is that you were hired to do. Know your why. Know why you're there on that job. Don't let anyone make you feel like you have to leave or abort your mission because they're not treating you well or they're trying to force you to leave or create chaos. Know your why. Number 4, think like an eagle. Think above what is happening in that atmosphere. Think above that, rise above that. Think, hey, if I stay here a year, get my experience, I'll be able to go somewhere else. But I need to gain the experience so I can move to another area or find another job. But in the meantime, let me think on this level, knowing, let me get my years of experience, then I'll be able to leave. That's how you have to think. You have to think like an eagle. Think what's going to benefit you and your family. Number 5, step outside of your department's walls. If you're in a department that's full of chaos, full of confusion, full of setbacks and rifts and rafts, step outside of that department. Create relationships outside of that department. Do things for people in other departments. Do favors for people. Not that you want something, but genuinely see how you can help in other departments. Don't let that boss who's trying to create chaos in that department, who's trying to just create confusion, don't allow them to limit you. Don't allow what they're doing to limit you. And this is how you rise above petty office politics.